Okay, I think I've secured everything nicely now. Shouldn't shit itself again. That was bizarre. Um, I've got the camera like right in front of my face, so it's a little bit strained. Oh, I need to get a spoon. But I don't know what you guys prefer, but I quite like this point of view kind of situation. So we'll stick with that. Let's bring up the monitor. I'm offline apparently. That's not right. I'm online. Okay. Oh, that's still working. All right, sweet. Okay. All right. Yep. So we've just got a few parts here. Tension rods and some screws, nuts and bolts, a few washers. These odds and sods. I'm not sure if we're going to get into too much because I'm going to have to get new hoops and new tension rods anyway. Hopefully from the donor kit. Now it's interesting. The donor kit is actually a Tempo, which is not a well-known brand. It's more made in Taiwan. Shit, essentially. Um, However, I did find out that it's made by Dixon, which is a US company, I believe. And some Dixon stuff is kind of sought after. The Tempo stuff is it's like your cheap kit, but it's still like it's older. Um, and some of the older cheap kits are better than the sort of 90s onwards cheap kits because that was when things really started to turn to shit. I mean, you look at like what's some good ones? Oh, by the way, Peace apparently also a really cheap shit kit. It's a subsidiary of Rogers. I mean, who knew that? I didn't know that. I only found out about it recently. Anyway, it's coming very clear that that drum companies globally are like a little bit incestuous. they're like they're all sort of kind of working with each other and doing the same thing and using the same international companies to make their stuff, and it's all getting a little bit like Fender. You know what I mean? So I just don't know what to. I don't know. Should we just should we just come to the conclusion? If it looks good, if it works good, and if it sounds good, then it's good, right? So let's just work off that basis. Um, but yeah, some of those older kits, the quality though is kind of can't really get past it unless you're paying like 5 to 10K for like studio session master series, like handcrafted kind of stuff. But you know, who's chucking that kind of dosh around, especially on drums? Just professionals, I think, session musicians and touring artists. But even some of them prefer, you know, the OG stuff. So who's to say? Right, so we've got our bucket of water. We're getting into our cleaning. We've got this looks like our that might have been the that might have been the screws for the kick drum only because they might have been a little bit different. Not sure on that one. I forgot. I should have labelled it. We got our scrubbing toothbrush. These look like they've bathed quite well in the vinegar. You can see that most of the rust is gone. A little clean up easy. I feel like we're missing a few things, and I guess I'll find out what those are momentarily. I grabbed the lugs that we haven't cleaned yet. Um, so we'll get into the cleaning these. We need 12, is that right? 6 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So we'll get into these. Don't think we need to take them apart. They're pretty tidy. This style here is actually really interesting. I've been looking into it because it's so. I was racking my brain as to where, because I've seen this style before, right? And I was racking my brain thinking, was it on a Tama? Was it on a Pearl? And I just couldn't, was it a Rogers? Was it a. They look a little bit like a Ludwig, but, not really. And then like, I suddenly remembered, no, I saw these slightly different, a lot more grooves here. These on an old 70s sonar is what I saw it on. And I was reading up about sonars when they moved them. They also ended up making them in Taiwan. They those kits apparently are really shit. However, they were talking about like it being three ply like this. So from the 90s onwards, it was like a three ply Luan shell. But the ones that I did up had the style of lug, and they were. I remember them. They were the heaviest shells I've ever come across, and I'm pretty sure they were 9 ply birch, or what's the other one that Sonar use? Poplar, believe it or not. So that was fascinating. Um, and that was a while ago, and that that they also those drums in particular were also over engineered. They had really like sturdy hoops. Everything was like triple double bolted, like really chunky heavy hardware. They were really that was unfortunate because the color of them was like this weird. I would definitely say brown, like a weird tan brown. It wasn't pleasant to the eyes, that's for sure. Um, a very odd drum color, like yeah, hard to describe. Hang on, let me just. I can't see my audio. Just gotta drag this over. There we go. So whoops. And so I flipped them on for probably too cheap, because and they had an 18-inch floor tom too, which is really cool. Yeah, I flipped them on for real cheap, thinking they weren't, But man, in hindsight, well constructed kit, and also definitely not the cheap kit that I've found described online. But that's what these lugs remind me of. They actually remind me of the Sonar, and it's funny because like all of these drum brands ended up. I mean, we're talking all of them: Ludwig, Rogers, uh, fucking Pearl, Tama, Mapex kicked off in Taiwan, so they started in Taiwan, but that was in the late '80s. Um, so it's funny that like all of these guys ended up shipping off to Taiwan, and I think New Sound. I'm almost 100% certain that these are late '70s, just because I've looked at other New Sound kits from the late '70s to the '80s, and the hardware's different. Like it's not like this, and there's no way they did a hardware swap on a kit like this. So this is like they're just stealing, they're cherry picking. It's like a prototype kit, it's a test kit. They're cherry picking what they need. This color, by the way, definitely Tama. This was a Tama color, so it is definitely what the research points to, which is it's a Tama Imperial Star King Beat clone. And once again, cursing the fact that I don't have the snare because the snare is a gorgeous parallel throw chrome snare. Would have been amazing, but that boat sailed. But hopefully we can pick up this acrylic snare with the stoner kit. And because the donor kit is made in Taiwan, pretty much probably by the same company, it's going to be interchangeable. All the hoops, all the tension rods, it's all going to fit. I've been down to see the kit personally, and it has the same number of lugs for each drum. Like it had the bass drum with the 10, it had the floor tom with the 8. You know, but yeah, those modern cheap kits. Wow, can you believe that they get away with 4 on a tom? Just insane. All right, let's get into the cleaning. Just got to cut me off a dry rag. Sweet, let's get into it. So once again, we're just taking our paste cleaner, essentially wet sanding as we go, without harsh scratching, which is what you'll get if you're doing all of this with steel wool. I know, like especially on cars, like chrome on cars, you can get away with like a steel wool kind of approach. I would say that a lot of this chrome stuff, chrome plated, is just a little bit more delicate than a bumper on a car, you know. So it's just pays to hit it a bit more gently. And I should have brought this one up to the camera because I just took out. There was like a really bad, like bubbly tarnished bit right here, and it's come out immediately. So these are cleaning up really good. I said that last stream, but I'll say it again. And I'm not wearing gloves. All right, let me go get some protection. That's just silly. What was the other thing that I needed? That's right, the plastic. Oh, yeah, I've got to fix. Got to fix one of those. sometimes, sometimes I don't know. I'm looking at me. I'm looking at me doing this shit, and there's no one in here. It's it's kind of absurd. Like, why? Why am I doing this? Anyway, we'll keep trucking along because I don't know. Doing this is kind of therapeutic sometimes, and also motivating. And I've got to do some of my downtime. Right? Trying to make money while I'm doing it too. I mean, I would say that drums is a bit like cars. You're probably going to spend more money than make money, but that's why I always try and do these projects on the absolute tightest bootstrap budget I can, because at the end of the day, I intend to make money on this. We're not going to lose money. I'm already $70 in, not including labor. I don't include labor. It is what it is. And we're probably going to be another 150 to 200 in for the donor kit, but we'll be able to do other stuff with that as well. That's going to donate to future projects as well. I could just strip down the shells and rewrap it, and that'll be an interesting sell. I've been checking out, like, Tama do this really, really, like, fairly affordable die-cast hoop, and I was thinking about getting that for this kit, but then I thought, well, actually, that'd be, because it's basically brand new chrome. That'd be quite cool on a rewrap. But then you're just making Franken kits, which is kind of what we're doing anyway. Uh, Not a bad thing, but they're not worth a lot of money. So you have to kind of try to get back what you put in at least. So I'm thinking, like, especially with skins, hopefully I can pick up the resonant sides just off the other kit. So that dry. I can't remember how I did this last time. Did I? I rinsed it off, and now did I just let it sit there and dry, and then passed back and did a dry? Yeah, what did I do? I can't remember. I can't remember my process. Oh, we'll keep going. So these ones have been sitting in CRC a lot longer, I guess. So they're surprisingly clean. But this paste cleaner just gives them a bit of a shine. Well, I'll show you in a second, because you might not have seen the old one. In fact, the old one, the previous stream is probably down by now. I have downloaded them because I intend to publish it all on YouTube. But is it true that you can't, like, if you're not a verified user, you can't post things over 15 minutes? Is that true? All right, have a look at this. So here's one we haven't done yet. Versus one we have done. You see here, it's like see how it's kind of hard. Like, this one has more of a mirror finish. This one's dull. You can kind of see the pitting and the tarnishing a lot easier. I just started listening to this podcast called what's it? It's like who shat on my floor at my wedding. It is very funny, very entertaining. But I was kind of listening to it like in and out of sleep, so I've missed some of the more important episodes. That's right. It's not just one podcast. It's episodic. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So this like the spring and tensioner on this one's like really seized up, and you can see in there there's a little bit of rust on the inside there. So, but we're going to dry these and polish them up a little bit, and then hit it with some CRC, which will work in there. Yeah, because they're so tidy, I'm kind of reluctant to take them apart too much. But on my previous restores, I've done I've like taken all this stuff out, all the guts, but they were really bad though. So I'll put that aside so I know which one needs some extra TLC. And after this, we've still got the floor tom to do, which we'll probably do next. We've got the bass drum. Oh, so the bass drum. Now the bass drum is the most complete. We have the hoops, we've got the skins, we've got the all the hardware on it, we've got the legs, everything's there. Um, so that's pretty much a complete piece. The only issue with it is that it has pretty intense cracking around the top mount. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to glue it. However, I had a really cool idea, and it came to me kind of like, and this is a bit different. I haven't done this before. Came to me in a flash of inspiration because I was like, how do we fix it, but we also we're kind of retaining the memory of the battle scars, the wounds, because it's not like bubbling and warping on the cheaper '90s onwards kits that you get. It's actually cracked. Like it's either had, I wouldn't say it's had a drop. It's almost like the tom mount has like the pressure of hitting it is like pressed into the shell and it's cracked it like that. Possibly, I don't know. I'm speculating. Um, it could have just been knocked. It could have just had a hard time getting moved somewhere. Uh, all wild speculation. However, it's in my eyes, it's part of the kit. It's part of its identity. Anyway, in Japan, they do this thing called kintsugi. I hope I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly. Please do not take offense. I will learn it. If someone tells me how to pronounce it properly, then I'll learn that. But kintsugi is the art of retaining the memory of a broken object, typically ceramic, clay, and they repair it, put it back together, but then it's laced with gold. So you get like these cool veins of like where the break was, but it's repaired. But the memory of the object remains. And I just like I quite like the idea of that. You know, it's there's like there's a symbolism there that I appreciate. That kind of, it's like when I did the Hofner guitar, the Hammerite metal paint was flaking off, like it was done and dusted. If you're doing a full refurb, you would strip the guitar back and repaint it. Where the hell am I going to get 1950s Hammerite paint from? You know, and also you're taking away the memory of all that time and damage that's occurred to that guitar. So I didn't. I cleaned it up and clear coated it to, you know, keep the look, keep the memory of it alive. I want people to know that this is an old guitar. I want people to know that it's had many years playing and many years sitting around doing nothing. It's the same with this drum. And this blue color, hang on, I don't want to get wet glove on it. Yeah. So this blue color is like this color in particular with gold is going to look just very, very cool, in my opinion. Think about like your classic Subaru color with the gold wheels. Mm, delicious. So yeah, so I'm gonna repair the cracks, glue them down. I'm gonna glue them down, not together, and then I'm gonna seam it with gold or gold leaf, or probably actually to be fair, it's probably going to be acrylic gold paint, which apparently, and I didn't know this, you can mix with silicon, or it's okay with silicon. So we can do it with. I'm thinking there's two ways I can do this. I can do it like I can glue it down and then go over it with gold and then do a clear coat of some description. I don't know how that's going to work with plastic. I'm thinking the best way to go around it is to mix the super glue with the gold acrylic paint. Sorry, glue the pieces down, let them set overnight, and then do like a glue with the paint in the cracks, get it flush, you know, buff it back or wet sand it back or whatever it takes to get it seamless, and then we'll hit it with our candy coat of just the silicon protector, and I'll just do like heaps of passes, like 4 to 5. I think because two normally brings it back around. Yeah, one to draw out the color, one to give it the shine. So it'd be color, shine, and then protective layers. I think we'll do for the kick because the rest of the drums don't need it. But no, I don't know. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to look. I think it's going to look stunning. Sorry about the lighting. It's difficult to get it like even in this room. Hang on, guys. I'm gonna have to end stream for a second. There's been some kind of emergency. Yeah, okay. It's a bit freaky. I'm gonna find out what's going on. Let's get these gloves off. Shit. Okay, yep. I don't know what's going on. I'm not far away from where I need to be. If I need to be there, I'll do what I need to. But I gotta find out what's going on. Shit. Okay, right. We'll stop and stream. Sorry.